Segment.
Be a superstar
Sounds
this
like
year.
a segment.
And we're going to kind of have our, like, we listened to that band before all you guys will listen to that band. Mike Dillon is our band. You know that.
He's been a superstar.
Damn right.
Kyle. Every offseason, NFL teams look to improve their rosters by adding and subtracting. So over the next couple of weeks, we will be focusing on a different division each day in a series called Roster Reset, where you'll see all across NFL Network and NFL.com. Today, let's kick it off with my hometown division, the NFC North. You've got the Vikings, Lions, the Packers, and the Bears. So I want to know, guys, the player that we're most excited to see with their new team now in the NFC North. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first with the big ticket item, right? I mean, this is the guy. This is the guy that everyone was courting, and it's Kirk Cousins. And I'll tell you why I'm excited to see Kirk Cousins as a Viking. Not so much to see what they do and if they can win a Super Bowl and all that, but for years he's been this victim. A victim of a team that wouldn't give him a long-term deal. A victim of a coach that never really had faith in him. A victim of a franchise that just wanted more than what he was.
Didn't have the talent around him.
There are no more excuses for Kirk Cousins. When you're making $90 million guaranteed, it is put up or shut up time. No one's feeling bad for Kirk Cousins anymore. Now it's the time where Kirk Cousins shows everyone else, hey, I'm no longer a victim. I'm actually that dude, and I'm one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Yeah, Super Bowl or bust. We've said it a bunch of times, and that's real. It's also reputation or bust for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
If he falls flat on his face, the Redskins might have gotten this right. So I want to see how he does with the Vikings.
It's funny, the expectations, because of all the money. You know, I don't care if it's sports. Sometimes in sports television, it gets out how much money someone is making, and it brews animosity about something. You're like, this better be the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Kirk Cousins has that going for him, right? You know what I'm saying? And it gets out there, you better be damn good. Damn good.
I feel you on that.
That's what I'm saying.
There are other established teams that have already been doing it for years.
Exactly right.
Well,
It's a copycat league, they say.
It is a copycat league. Now, leading to my guy that I'm excited to see, and I'll go to my team, the Detroit Lions. I'm looking at LeGarrette Blount. LeGarrette Blount, to me, is probably the most polarizing running back in the game. I know there's guys that have big numbers and guys that might be on teams and get the ball a lot more than LeGarrette Blount, but if you think about what he's done since he's been in the league, I believe it's 3 world championships, and that's all he does is win Super Bowls. Now he went from the Patriots to the Eagles, won back-to-back Super Bowls. Now he's going to my former team who struggled with running the ball for so long. When I think about the NBA, which you guys know I love, I look at guys like Robert Horry, Derek Fisher, Chauncey Billups, and these guys are all big shots, Mr. Big Shots in big moments, and that's LeGarrette Blount. I'm going to call him Mr. Big Run. And if there's any team in the league that needs a run, a big run, it's the Detroit Lions. How long are we going to talk about it? Matt Stafford can throw it with the best of them. He has the wide receivers. He has tight end play. They can even protect him, but they don't have a 100-yard rusher in the game. How about they get a guy who's been there, who's done that, and can bring that championship attitude along with their head coach? This is going to be an awesome addition, so I'm going to be paying attention to him more than any other running back in the league.
I love that. So we have a quarterback, a running back. I will add a wide receiver to the mix and go right there to Chicago. I left there yesterday. My family is stoked, Kyle.
Yeah?
Everyone's excited about what the Bears are doing. It all started that first day of free agency with that big swing they took in getting Allen Robinson. This is a guy who we've seen have 14 touchdowns in a season. We've seen have a 1,400-yard season. The Chicago Bears have 10 1,000-yard receiving years to assert like a receiver. 10 times in their entire career. In their storied history.
You've been around for 300 years.
The Bears. Last year, Kendall Wright, the only receiver to have over 400 receiving yards. So I don't have crazy high expectations for him. I really don't. I think they did a nice thing, took a nice big swing. Do I think he'll have over 1,000 yards? Yes. This team is young and feisty and growing, and I cannot wait. And I think even just that running back duo is going to have a crazy year because they'll be open to do whatever they want.
Fam's fired up in Chicago.
Oh, so excited.
It should be. It's the most exciting offseason they've had in a decade, truly, the Bears. And yet, I'm going to talk about a Green Bay Packer.
Okay.
I grew up a Bears fan. I remember being tormented by tight ends in the Packers. Mark Shimura used to eat the Bears alive, even Bubba Franks in the red zone. And now they got a guy named Jimmy Graham to play with Aaron Rodgers. I look at it this way. Aaron Rodgers has never had this caliber of tight end. It's sort of like, you know, Jordan never had the big man. They always did the Bill Wenningson, the Luke Longley. What if at the end of Jordan's career they had brought in Zoe Morning? What if they had brought in somebody, you know, like a true 7-footer? I love Luke Longley. He's Australian. He surfs LUC. A true dominant guy, and I think that's Jimmy Graham. And also, guys, I'm here for Jimmy Graham's Lambeau leaps. I truly am. The biggest frustration I have with the state of celebrations, they still don't let him dunk. He's one of the great dunkers. His Lambeau leaps will be into the 10th row, and I think he's going to get a lot of them. If you can get 10 touchdowns last year with Russell Wilson, I'm telling you, he could hit a dozen with Rodgers. I'm fired up.
Which team's the most different? Because you have new coaches in there, you have a new quarterback, which makes maybe the biggest difference out of at any position, and then you have the Bears who sort of added the most.
For me, from last year, I think the Packers are going to be a completely different team. I think Aaron Rodgers coming back completely catapults them right up to the top once again. I think he's coming off an injury. And also, defensively, you add Muhammad Wilkerson to Mike Daniels up front. Mike Daniels on our show talking about him, Muhammad Wilkerson, and Kenny Clark, and basically saying, who's going to stop us? Like, I think that Packers team looks a lot different than the Brett Hundley-led team. And also, there's a lot of changes in the coaching staff. They blew out a lot of guys. They brought in new ones. I think the Joe Philbin addition is actually going to pay great dividends for the Packers.
I'll say the Chicago Bears, and forget about, Allen Robertson, Taylor Gabriel, Trey Burton. Now, I get it. The additions stand out, and they made a lot of moves. But it's more about the guys that were there that are going to be different. Mitchell Trubisky last year, it was almost like his introduction. Like, hi, my name is Mitch. And he went out there and played well, had some games where he looked amazing. And then there was games where I think he had 4 completions in one game. So this offense, with the additions, they're going to be completely different. So it's not about the additions. It's about Mitchell Trubisky being a completely different quarterback going into his second season.
Quickly, I think the Bears is the obvious answer in terms of the parts at it. But I do think Minnesota, the fact that they now have a new face of the franchise and the only team that's adding a new quarterback, they better hope they don't look that different because the paychecks are a lot different. I think, though, in a way, Minnesota symbolically is because now it is the Cousins show. And as Peter said, no excuses.
No excuses.
Cleveland Brown fans this morning, not so happy with Ryan Leaf. We'll get to this in a second. He believes the next quarterback taken by Cleveland should pull an old Eli Manning and avoid them in the draft. What do we think about his